Israel's planning to build over 1,000 new settlement homes in East Jerusalem and the West Bank. It's speeding up construction after Palestine won membership to the UN's heritage body in October. Palestinian leaders say peace negotiations are impossible without a settlement freeze. RT's Paula Sleer in Tel Aviv can tell us more. Paula, a turn for the worse seemingly between Israelis and the Palestinians. What exactly is being planned?
Well, certainly what we're hearing is that the Israeli government has announced it will be building more than 1,000 housing units across the Green Line on Palestinian land. The Israeli Housing and Construction Ministry says the decision was made last month after it was announced that Palestinians were being accepted into UNESCO, the United Nations Education, Scientific and Cultural Agency. Now, the purpose of the housing units is to try and help alleviate the shortage of accommodation, particularly among young Israeli couples in the Jerusalem area. But no doubt this announcement will draw the anger of the international community, as indeed have similar announcements in the past. Whenever the Israeli government announced its settlement expansionist policy, the United States, the United Nations, the European Union, as well as the Palestinians have expressed their anger and growing frustration. Certainly it does not bode well for any kind of resumption of peace talks between the Israelis and the Palestinians. It sends out a strong message that the Netanyahu government is not interested in sitting down and talking with the Palestinians, while at the same time continuing to build settlements on Palestinian land.
And Paula, this is all despite the landmark prisoner swap between the two that's been completed. Where does this exchange leave the peace process?
Well, the peace process at the moment does not seem particularly hopeful. I mean, while we're talking, Palestinians in the West Bank are celebrating, and this is because of the release last night, Sunday, of 550 Palestinian prisoners from Israeli jails. This was the second phase of an Israeli-Hamas prisoner exchange swap that was carried out back in October. You remember there that the first phase of this prisoner exchange deal started that will ultimately see more than 1,000 Palestinian prisoners released for one Israeli soldier, Gilad Shalit, who has already returned to Israel. Now, there was a short time when clashes broke out shortly before the exchange last night took place. These clashes were between Israeli soldiers and families who were waiting for prisoners to come back. The soldiers were firing tear gas and rubber bullets. The Palestinians were throwing rocks and burning tires. Most of the Palestinians who were released yesterday have returned to the West Bank. They are mostly supporters and members of Fatah, although this was a deal that was carried out with Hamas. So you do have this policy which seems quite strange to some observers. On the one hand, Israel adhering to a prisoner exchange deal and seemingly wanting to move forward and create some kind of negotiations with the Palestinians. But on the other hand, we do have this flare-up in violence, and we also have this continuation in settlement building by the Netanyahu government.
OK, Paula, many thanks for that update. RT's Paula Sleer there reporting for us from Tel Aviv.